Well, hi everybody. You're looking at the sheet and you're going 10, chapter 10. Now we have a couple of lessons that we need to go through in order for you to understand a couple of other things that we have to do before the chapter test. So we are going to learn circles and arcs. We are looking for central angles and we're looking for circumference and arc length. So that means nothing to you until you know what all these pieces are. Of course, you know what a circle is. Another thing that you need to know is the center of the circle. Center of the circle is just like it says, the very center. Then we have the radius. The radius of a circle is the distance from the center to the circle, to the end point on the circle. And it's the same distance all the way around the entire circle. Congruent circles, you guys can figure that one out. Diameter. Diameter is the distance from one end of the circle to the opposite. And it always goes through the center. That's a diameter. A central angle is an angle that is the center is the vertex of this angle and it extends around the circle. So a central angle here would be this angle right here. An arc. That's part of a circle. So if you look at the circle that's next to, let's just use this one over here. Arc TR is this little piece right here on that circle. That's an arc. Arc RS is going to be this piece right here. Arc TRS. Sometimes you will have three letters like that. That means starting at T, going in the direction of R to S. So T, start at T, go in the direction of R, and go all the way to S. Arc T RTS, that will be a different one. Let's go with, I don't know, purple. Okay. So RTS, that means we're going in the direction of from R to T through S. So that's starting here, going in the direction of T to S. Okay. So then we look at semicircle. That's, you guys used to do that in elementary school. You used to sit in a semicircle. That means half a circle. Semi means half. So this right here is a semicircle. All right. Then we've got major arcs and minor arcs. Minor and major. A minor arc is one that's smaller. Major arc is that arc right there. Adjacent arcs are arcs that are next to each other. So here's one arc. Here's another arc. They're adjacent. They're right next to each other. Circumference. Circumference is the distance around a circle. Pi, we're going to be using that. It's a ratio, but we're going to be using that a lot to find the area and to find lengths of arcs and so forth. Concentric circles are circles that are like this. Just concentric means that they all have the same center. Arc length is this distance. It's a distance. It's like centimeters, units. And congruent arcs, of course, are arcs that are the same. So we have an arc addition postulate. Oh gosh, we've seen that before. We've seen angle addition and segment addition. That just means that arc AB plus arc BC equals arc ABC. These are two formulas that you're going to have to remember. Circumference is pi times the diameter, or 2 times pi times the radius. And in order to figure out the length of an arc, we need this one, the length of AB. So the length of this arc equals the measure of arc AB. And we'll look at that in a little bit. Over 360 times 2 times pi times the radius. So let's make some sense out of this. Okay, so we're going to find the measures of arcs. Finding the measure of arc XY. So find the measure of arc XY. XY is this one right here. And so we need the measurement, so we're going to take 40 plus 56, and that's going to be the measure of arc XY. So the measure of arc XY, that's how we write it. The measure of arc XY equals 40 plus 56, and that's going to be 96 degrees. So on your notes, it says, let's find the measure of YCD. YCD is an angle. YCD. Well, this angle right here is the same as its arc. So that is going to be 40 degrees. Again, here's the angle. Now it asks you to find the measure of YMW. YMW. Well, if I look at this, YMW is this arc right here. What I notice is that it's also on the diameter. It follows the diameter. Well, if it's on the diameter, I notice that that is a semicircle. So the measure of arc YMW is going to be 180 degrees. So now it says find the measure of arc MW. MW is going to be this arc. And they want us to figure out what this arc is. Well, there's no numbers there, but I can figure it out because across from that, we have vertical angles here. So it's going to be the same as 40 plus 56. So this is also going to be 96 degrees. Oops. Nice. That's 96 degrees because we have vertical angles. The measure of arc XMY. XMY. Okay, I need my purple pen again. That is going from X towards M to Y. That's this arc right here. Well, we know that there are 360 degrees in a circle, and we know this piece right here. So we're going to take 360 and subtract the 96, and that gets you 264. All right, moving on. The graph shows types of trash in a typical American city. Find the measure of each central angle to the nearest whole number. Well, in order to figure out the central angle, we have to do a little bit of math. So if we look at the glass is this angle right here. It's hard to see on your sheet, but you can kind of see what we're looking at here. So we want to figure out what this angle is going to be. So what we do is we say, okay, it's 5%. So it's 5% of 360. So when we do the math, oh shoot. When we do the math, it's going to be 5% of 360. In order to figure that out, you do 5% times 360. And when you do that math, you end up with 18 degrees. So that angle is 18 degrees in the center here. Now if we look for food waste is this angle right here, this piece. And we want to know it's 12%. 12% is the same as 12 over 100 times 360. And that equals 43.2, but it's to the nearest whole number, so I'm going to say that it's 43 degrees. So that angle is 43 degrees. Now we're looking at circumference. Okay, so these people have a pool that they want to put a circular fence around. That would be kind of silly, but oh well. And they want it to be 4 feet away from the pool. So they want this distance to be 4 feet. Now, the pool itself is 16 feet. That's the diameter. So now we have to figure out how much fence is going to go around this pool. That's the circumference. So if you look back at your sheet, you'll notice that the circumference equals pi times the diameter. Well, that's easy enough. Well, sort of. But what we have to do is we have to add to get this whole diameter, because we want the distance around this pool. We don't around the fence. We don't want the distance around the pool. So we're going to take 4 plus 16 plus 4 to get the diameter of the red circle. So that's going to be 24. So circumference equals pi times 24. And when you put that into your calculator, you end up with 75.4 feet. This is not square feet because it's not an area. It is a linear measurement. So that means I'm going to need 75.4 feet of fencing. Now to find arcs. To find the arc, the formula is the length of an arc equals the measure of the arc over 360 times 2 pi r. Okay, so what does that mean? All right, well, we want to find the length of arc ADB. ADB. We want to find out how long that is. So what we need to do is plug in our numbers. So the length of ADB, so I'm just going to put the length of ADB, equals, okay, I need the measure of that arc. Well, I don't have the measure of that arc. I don't have this right here, but I can figure it out. The measure of the arc is going to be 360 minus this piece right here. And that's going to be 210. So that's going to be 210 over here, over 360, times 2, just because, times pi, times the radius. The radius is here, and right here. There we are, 18. All right. Now, once you type that all into your calculator, what are you going to get? It says, oh, on your note sheet, it doesn't have this crossed out. It does here. Look up here. We're not going to do it in terms of pi. So when you type that all in, you get 65.9734, blah, 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 blah. So we're going to call that 66.0. So the length of that arc is 66.0. And what was it? Feet? Oh, it doesn't give us the units. So 66 units. So now we're going to just apply that formula again. So the length of x equals, we are going to find, let's see, what this angle is. Well, I know that this is a semicircle, and this piece is 60, so that's 180 minus 60. So the measure of that angle x is going to be 120. So we're going to put that on the top over 360, because that's part of the formula, times 2 times pi times radius. Well, radius would be only to the center. This whole thing is 24. So we know this is 12, and this is 12. So we're going to say it's times 12. All right, so you type that into your calculator, and you end up with 21.1 feet. Next one. We want to find x. Again, so x equals the measure of the angle. Well, I know that this is 20, and there are vertical angles here, so this has to be 20. So we're going to say 20 over 360 times 2 times pi times the radius. Well, they gave us the radius. You type that into your calculator, and you end up with 3.5 centimeters. The last one. Okay, so now I want x, and it's this huge thing. But I see this 90 degrees here. Well, if that's 90 degrees, this has to be 90 degrees too, because it's on the diameter. So 90, so that's 360 minus 90 equals 270. So this right here is 270 degrees. So in the equation, we want x equals 270 over 360 times 2 times pi times the radius. Well, they gave us the radius right here, 6 meters. Once you type that into your calculator, you end up with 28.3 meters. So that's day one of the circles and arcs. So be ready to work on that tomorrow, and we'll see you then. Have a good night.